Welcome, Virginia and Amy. How are you guys?
Hey, good.
I can hear you
I
so
can,
well.
okay, good. Sorry.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I decided to not do video because I'm at work and I think that will hopefully work better.
Make it. Welcome, Amy. How are you?
How are you?
Good, good. So good to see you.
See you. I might do the same since I have my other computer to my right. I'm going to try to get some work done and listen at the same time.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Perfect. And here's Sarah and Jen. Welcome. I see you guys looking at us. Can you hear us? Sarah and Jen.
Hang on, we can't hear anybody yet.
Oh, we can hear her, but she can't hear us. It's all coming. I feel like I'm in Simply Health right now, seeing the background.
All right, we're good.
Okay, perfect. You can hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah.
Welcome. I'm so excited you guys are here. Thank you for doing this. It is such a treat.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So here's how this works, Jen and Sarah. Before we get rocking and rolling, this will be recorded. So Amy and Virginia are here right now. There may be a couple people that will join us as well, but this is recorded and it's stored permanently in our online course. So people will be able to watch this for now till years forward. And so they'll be gathering your information from today moving forward. So I'm going to introduce you guys and then we'll get started. Basically, it's going to be Q&A, asking questions. You guys have a wealth of information, so we'll have about 45 minutes to share modern day biohacking, which I was like, really? Wait, what? But we'll dive into just healing, right? Healing chronic health conditions and what you guys have to offer at Simply Health, and how people, if they're not in Jackson, can just become aware of these incredible modalities of healing and technology that you guys have found, even if they don't live in Jackson. So we want to bring awareness to that. So to begin, I want to introduce you guys to Jennifer and Sarah. They are the owners of Simply Health, which many of you know. I have a lot of people in my program have called you guys up to ask about different supplements because these guys are practitioners. And what's different than going to a regular, like a health food section or something, they have therapeutic grade supplements along with all of their amazing biohacking type technologies. And so we can, we're lucky enough to be able to go there and ask questions. I was in there yesterday. I go in there all the time asking about supplements and which are the best kind. They also have therapy grade supplements, which I just feel like supplements often are tainted and not as pure and clean, and we can dive a little bit into that. But you guys have done your research, so I really appreciate you guys offering that as a service. So Jennifer Nelson-Hawks is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, certified medical assistant, certified iridologist, certified professional health coach. Jen and I actually met years ago, way back when you didn't own Simply Health. So I've known you for a very long time, and I know you've been on this health journey for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to read the entire, well, I guess I will. Jennifer is the founder of Peak Purity. There's a lot. You guys have a lot here. So the founder of Peak Purity was born and raised in Idaho Falls, nearby to us, you guys. Over the course of the last 20 years, Jennifer's completed continuing education classes, educational classes, alternative healthcare, and has attended numerous seminars, conventions related to alternative health. She is a guru in this area. She's graduated at the top of her class and became a certified medical assistant, where she spent 15 years working in physicians' offices caring for patients in internal medicine and oncology. Her passion for alternative healthcare quickly grew as she addressed her own health issues. In 2015, she became a certified iridologist and now serves on the board of directors for the International Iridology Practitioners Association. Jennifer is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, has bioresonance training, certified health coach, co-owner of pharmaceutical-grade supplement store Simply Health of Jackson Hole. Through her practice of various modalities, Jennifer seeks to create exceptional client experiences centered on client-based needs and wellness. basically, you guys, Jennifer knows what she's doing.
that was a mouthful.
I know, right? They're like, you have an incredible background. And Sarah, you and I met, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. And I know that I really connected with you because you also had a near-death experience due to Lyme. You went through the rigmaroles of Lyme and really, really understand and can relate to that type of health situation. So Sarah, you guys, is a certified clinical thermographer, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, also co-owner of Simply Health. And you, in 2009, I'm skipping down just a little bit. So you graduated from Colby Sawyer College in New London, New Hampshire, which I didn't know. I went to school at UNH. In 2006 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Psychology and a minor in Sociology. Through the American College of Clinical Thermology, she received her level 1 as a clinical thermographer. She continues to expand her education through professional development such as conferences, workshops, and lectures. And then you really talk about your passion and your experience with communicable diseases, dental pathology, digital thermography, your own healing journey through Lyme, and how that has brought you onto this incredible path of helping others heal. So with that, dun, 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 welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys. So let's first start. The topic of this is modern day biohacking. And we had someone come on a few months ago that talked about ancient day biohacking. Biohacking to me is really about going in and hacking our biology, figuring out ways to improve our health through technology that we may not have not access to, but we may not know to do on a day-to-day basis unless there's certain technologies or modalities that teach us to do so. In the ancient day biohacking, we talked a lot about breath work and meditation and like taking baths and using different minerals to absorb through the skin if they can't absorb through gut. So different techniques like that. But you guys in Simply Health, Jen and Sarah have created this incredible wellness facility. It's like, I think of centers when I was a teacher, there's like all these little centers for these amazing tools and technology, which I would love for you guys to describe, that allow us to detox. They allow us to upregulate our detox pathways. They support our nervous system. They support all of the pieces that so many of us who have chronic illnesses and chronic conditions, those issues need to be addressed in order to fully heal. So today, I'm hoping, Sarah and Jen, that you guys can walk us through as many, or at least the major hitters of these types of technology that you guys use and have found really great success with for people with chronic health conditions. We have people in our group from Lyme and failing kidney and cancer, all the way to just arthritis, wanting to lose weight, kind of the whole spectrum. So some more severe cases, some less, but there's so many commonalities around detoxing, nervous system, all those. And then of course, I'm super interested in gut health. In particular, Jen and I have been talking about gut health recently for my son and I. And so I thought maybe if we have some time, we can talk a little bit about this awesome probiotic and the gut health protocol that you guys have got me onto.
You bet. You bet.
So good. Okay, so first, if you would tell us a little bit about what... Oh, did the internet go out?
No, I think we're good.
No, we're still here.
Okay, so if you guys want to talk about like what are these technologies that you house in Simply Health? What are the names of them? What do they do? And I know you have so many, we may not be able to cover all of them. We have about maybe another 40 minutes or so before we open it up to some Q&A. But what are the major hitters that you see with people with chronic health that you offer? And then also, if people don't live in Jackson, like what are the strategies where they might be able to find them? Just Googling, or do you have any resources in that regard?
Sure.
Should we just take it down from
I kind of think so. Like, I think we should just, I almost was like, I should go to Simply Health for this. And like, as you're talking model.
Well, first of all, we created Simply Health back in 2013 based on, the modern day holistic approach to biohacking the body. And, we believe that there is a foundation to our health, no matter what health challenges that we do have, but we all have to start at the ground zero level. And so we have provided or brought in different therapies and services that is for everyone. So we're not just stuck on detoxing the body. Some people aren't there yet. Some people need more pulmonary stuff, or maybe just cellular health. So for us, Simply Health really is that one-stop shop to bring back all your healthcare needs naturally. We do use a lot of electroceutical therapies. And so as we go through we're kind of going to go down I can even grab a brochure where we can kind of go down and just kind of explain a little bit about what those are, what they do, and why we feel like they're important and why we brought them in.
That's
Does that
awesome.
work?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's perfect. And one of the reasons I originally wanted to bring you guys in is I think that there is this big gap around what's available. You know, we think, okay, everyone knows about supplements. We all know healthy eating is important to some regard. And I know everyone's learning about the importance of water in my group, but like beyond that, what is available? Who knows about a Rife machine or a whole cat machine? Like, I had never heard of a lot of these until I started my health journey, and even until I came into your guys's, into Simply Health. So I think for people just to have this awareness that like there's so many possible healing avenues is really important.
I do want to touch on what you just said about supplements really quick before we actually get into the therapies, because I think that there's a very big misunderstanding around supplements. It's becoming such a huge, broad spectrum of what people gravitate towards, where when someone is sick and has a specific ailment or a specific disease, quality over quantity is very important. However, going and buying stuff from the grocery store because it's $10 cheaper, or it's this or it's that, I think it's very, 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 very important to understand that there has to be quality control. There has to be sustainability. Supplements are not created equal. You can have specifically, I'll just give you a quick example. I've got two great examples, but number one is, we have one particular supplement, and I'm not going to go into what those supplements are just based on the fact that I'm not trying to sell any products. However, we have one that women specifically use for sleep, for stress, and for just bringing down their nervous system. They get stuck in that
sympathetic state.
Exactly, that sympathetic state so much. Long story short is we have them here. We had a male actually come in, purchase them. They're not just for females, but called us and said, hey, like, I ran out of your product. I purchased it online and it's not working. Why is it not working anymore? We're like, don't really know. And he said, well, there's an address on the back of the bottle. It's actually right by where I live. So he went there. It happened to be a laundromat.
No.
And in the back of the laundromat, they were counterfeiting this specific product. So we contacted the company and said, hey, what do we do about this? And they said, unfortunately, that is happening a lot. So that is going on. So just make sure you're getting your products from a retail, pharmaceutical, holistic store and or a practitioner or somewhere. Do not purchase these online. Do not try to get that deal. If you're getting the deal, it's most likely a counterfeit product.
That gives me chills. I had no idea. No idea. That's insane. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's one. And the second one, and just again, I feel like this is an extremely important topic. Sustainability. A product that comes off the shelf or comes off the manufacturer, if there's no quality control, can show it 100% of a specific product in it. For instance, this spore that Jenny, you and I have specifically been talking about as far as a probiotic goes, it is the only one with a qualified research behind it to show that after 1 month, there is still 100% sustainability in it versus other ones you find at other sources. They've gone from the 100% sustainability at 1 month to 5 to 10% after 60 days, 30 to 60 days of the product being manufactured. Wow. So that is another huge piece of the puzzle. So knowing where those resources are coming from is also extremely important, because when you have a health condition, and you add in these counterfeit products or lower grade products, you're actually adding to your health challenges
Yes.
because of the toxic burden that creates.
Yes, on your liver, which is, or everywhere, but especially your liver, it's so compromised.
Because
Yeah.
who knows what's really in it? You know, it could be just
Right.
a synthetic byproduct or synthetic product. And yeah, just to Jen's point, you're just adding flames to the fire.
It's crazy. I actually, in my whole healing journey, I was prescribed supplements from a doctor, not in Jackson, a different area regionally. And I found out that there were actually heavy metals in the supplements.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you know, the 5 of us could go to a farmland in Utah and put dirt into a capsule and sell it with this beautiful label that shows that, hey, this is going to make you sleep, or this is going to make your endocrine system like be so perfect that you're going to have energy and you're going to be doing all the things you want to do again. We could all do that because there's no quality control on any supplements when you look at it that way. And I just, so you all know, like, we as practitioners have to sign agreements with every single one of our product companies that state that we will not sell any of this online. So if you find it on Amazon, or if you find it on another store that is just a random, you know, store for supplements, just don't fall into that ploy, because we as practitioners cannot put them on anything else.
Wow.
Just really be aware of the situation. I know years ago, remember they did that study, they pulled supplements from Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, and I think it was like a vitamin D supplement and a couple other supplements, and they took it back to the labs and tested it thoroughly and found that like there was like 1% of vitamin D in the actual supplement. The rest were fillers, synthetics, I think even like hay.
I think they found wheat and hair. And like
just make sure you're getting your supplements from a really, really great, you know, good quality control, sourced properly. There's good research behind it. And if you guys can find a holistic wellness center, because the education behind it too is really powerful. Like Jen and I really, really, really take pride in, if someone comes in, just educating them on why this vitamin D supplement might be, you know, better than your average vitamin D supplement that you might find on Amazon. But just really giving them the education too. That's a huge part of the piece.
That is huge, and I'm so grateful you guys do that. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's get into the fun therapy.
I feel like we could drop the mic right there. Like I just learned so much I had no idea about. Thank you for sharing that.
We have an additional 14 therapies to potentially cover. So
we'll move quick, and we'll just kind of give you guys the cliff notes, and we'll just kind of, we'll go from one end of our wellness center to the next, and maybe we can just go back and forth.
Sure.
So I'll start with the Rife. The Rife therapy is huge in the Lyme community. What it does is it uses, well, there's a couple ways we can go about it. But anyway, it's using frequency to basically match the frequency of the parasite, the bacteria, the mold, the fungus, the health challenge. And so if you're taking that exact frequency, you're matching it to the frequency of the parasite, then you're able to eradicate it. It's almost like homeopathic in a sense, that the two are being matched at the same level of frequency, and is able to eradicate it. But it responds, like parasites, bacteria, Lyme, co-infections, they respond really, really, really well to frequency therapy. So Rife is one of the ones we kind of have in the back. It allows us to tweak things a little bit more, a little bit more uniquely.
So it's kind of like the opera singer. When she sings at that high octave and breaks the glass across the room, she's mimicking the vibration of the glass, and the glass in itself, just like any other vibration, can't withstand its own frequency, so it self-destructs. And that's exactly what we're doing with the Rife machine. So we target those specific vibrations in which the organisms are vibrating at, put that into the machine, and push it back into the human body. And a healthy cell is not vibrating at that specific rate. So it does not do anything to the natural, vibration of the organs and systems, just only targeting organisms.
It's amazing. That's so cool. And when someone does Rife, like just really quickly describe what it looks like. Are you lying down?
Sure. Yeah, you're sitting in a chair. You just have to be about 5 to 7 feet away from it, and you're just absorbing the frequencies. It's kind of this long black cylinder tube.
Should I go get the list? Show the.
Oh, yeah, sure. And it's mounted on the wall, and we have this big comfy chair that people just come and sit in front of. We can use Jen's machine to kind of find which frequencies that the body actually needs, or if they have a diagnosis, we can kind of plug that in. Again, we're just using it. It allows us to use really, really unique frequencies to target some really, really stubborn health challenges, if you will.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you say Jen's machine, Sarah, just for reference, I know what you're talking about, but.
Yeah. And we can get into that as we kind of work our way down. But Jen uses something called the Asira. It's a bioresonance screening tool. And we can, do you want to just dive into that right now?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Also known as EAB, which is, it's a form of electroceutical machine. In the Western medicine, very much like an EKG or an EEG, except for with this machine, you're holding on to 2 copper electrodes that actually will allow frequencies to flow into the body. And then the body responds to those frequencies, and it allows for a test to be, results to be brought up on the other end. So it's only bringing up where there's dysresonance of the body. So dysresonance can be an organism. It can be a vitamin or a mineral or a tooth or a vertebrae. So we're not just specifically only looking for organisms. Sometimes someone is very deficient in, let's say, copper. Copper is the mineral content that allows for the immune system to be supported, amongst many other different minerals as well, or magnesium. So it can show whether someone is actually high or low with magnesium based on the vibrational component. And all these vibrations are put in the system through algorithms. It's been around. Dr. Voll, back in the long ago, I'm not going to quote the time frame because I'll probably be wrong, but long ago founded this, and they actually were measuring astronauts when they would go up in space to make sure that all of their vitals and nutrient levels were maintaining at specific levels. So I do that here, and I'm looking for not only specific organisms or minerals, vitamins, but I can go into hormones, or we could go into emotions or chakras. There's so many different areas that someone could be a little out of balance with, and it can just maybe be energetically. It's not necessarily to say that they need to have a supplement, or not even if they have to necessarily make some dietary changes or movement changes. And movement can, equate to as exercise as well, but sometimes just creating a homeopathic remedy for someone and allowing their natural body energy to rebalance itself can be extremely healing and powerful on its own. So with that, we can talk about this later, but we do remote scans with that. So we have people send in hair samples, saliva samples from all over the world, and we can recommend supplementation. We can recommend,
different therapies,
anything. Yeah, anything.
And can you make the little vial energy? The homeopathic.
Yep, and then we just ship it out to whomever that belongs to.
That's awesome. So you guys, I just want to share share an example. Recently, I had Jen do this with my son, Tosh. He wasn't feeling very well. He was dizzy and had a bunch of headaches. And I was like, what? Something funny is going on. And so we went in, and she did this just a couple of weeks ago, and she found mold in his respiratory areas. We had mold in our house. Those of you probably know this from me by now, but maybe not. We had mold in our house a number of years ago, and my daughter was very sick from it. Tosh didn't seem to have the symptoms, but he was exposed to it for years. And this machine caught that, saw it, which I never would have picked up on. So it's so cool what it can pick up on. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can pick up literally on anything and everything. And, there's some things that we look right on over because the body will prioritize what it needs to be supported with. So we use this as an insightful tool. We have 2 insightful services that we do. The rest of them are therapies. this happens to be one of those, looking for insight, because we are not doctors. We don't diagnose and we don't treat. We actually look for insight and we recommend. And that's part of the holistic approach to things. Our other service, which I'm going to let Sarah talk to you about, because it is also as important as what I do, by using thermography. And so.
Yeah, so thermography is getting more and more popular. It's huge on the East Coast, it's huge on the West Coast. I'm the only one certified in Wyoming. So not only did I bring it to our small town of Jackson, but I'm also still in the process of kind of educating other health professionals, because it's a really, really great tool to, it looks for inflammation within the body, and where there's inflammation, there's often disease. So it's looking for any abnormalities within the body, can look at organ function. The neat thing about thermography, it's a thermal image using a medical grade camera, is every organ has its own temperature range. So when it's out of that temperature range, it warrants further clinical investigation. So thermography is not used as a standalone diagnostic tool. It never should be. It should always complement adjunctive testing. Yeah, as I mentioned, every organ has its own temperature range. When it's out of that temperature range, it causes further exploration. So it looks at your liver, your spleen, your kidney, your thyroid, dental pathology, sinus congestion, breast health. That's huge for women. And again, I can't say it's a replacement of mammography. It always needs to be an adjunctive test, but it is a great indicator for preventative health, like hugely preventative. Just giving you a really. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it'll catch things often before standard Western medical technology would catch something.
Yeah, similar to Jen's machine too. It catches things before they become clinical. So it's giving us a picture of like, hey, your thyroid might just need a little bit more love and support. Or it's like, oh, you actually need to go get some blood work done. Right. Some stuff is coming up. So thermography is great for a person that comes in and they were just like, gosh, like Sarah, Jen, I am just, something is off. I know it's off. I can feel it, but I just don't know where to start. And it just gives us a very visual picture of what's dysfunctional in the body. It looks at your lymphatic system. It looks at circulation. It's neat. There's different thermal patterns that mean different things, such as, a pre-diabetic, or there's a cool thermal pattern right behind your neck. That's an indication that you are currently in an autoimmune state, or you're predisposed to an autoimmune dysfunction. The neat thing about the company that I work for, it's interpreted by medical doctors. So there's no guessing game on my end. I counsel the person within reason. We have some verbal intake. I take the images, I send them off to medical doctors, and then I get that report back and I go through my patients on kind of the language. It's sometimes a little bit tricky to understand because it's meant for medical doctors. But it's a really useful tool just to see kind of the layout of the body. If you're in thermography, you're looking for like a straight line drawn down the body. You're looking for symmetrical features. When they're asymmetrical, again, it warrants more investigation or more exploratory avenue. But it's very preventative before it becomes something clinical.
And we were talking about, like, if you don't want to get a mammogram every year, if you don't necessarily want to be exposed to the radiation, then okay, you can do this. And if something shows up, then you can go get a mammogram, right? So it's just a way to help avoid that.
And I always say to my patients, it's very, very sensitive language, but I always say to my patients, it's up to your due diligence where you want thermography to be a part of your breast health plan.
Yeah.
And I have some patients that do thermography across the board. I have some patients that do thermography and mammography. I have some patients that do thermography and ultrasound. But I, as a certified clinical thermographer, I can't, thermography is an adjunctive test. It can't be a standalone diagnostic tool.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So good. Thank you guys. And I'm putting the names of these. Amy, you said you were asking about the Asira, which Jen was talking about. She said, is this similar to the energy work that she does? She holds onto a copper bar and the computer records results. For those things I react to, I get a treatment there and then I go home with a vial of homeopathic remedy. It's called Asira. I don't know, Jen.
So the Asira, just to give you a quick background.
Yeah.
The Asira started in Europe. So when it was originally introduced to the United States, back when I started utilizing it, It was an FDA approved device, so we could diagnose with it. 83 or 93% accuracy compared to blood work. The company itself took it off of the market for the FDA approval based on the fact that FDA wanted to get involved, and because if I don't know if anybody knows, but homeopathy is being pulled from the market because it is a vibrational tool that is healing people, and the FDA does not want that to happen. So the company had decided they would create a United States version of the Asira, which is called the Quest 4. That's QEST and then the letter 4. It is the exact same system. 2 different names. Again, mine's the European version because I got it before the Quest 4 was birthed, per se. But we all do the same, we all have the same technology. Everything is exactly the same except for the name on the actual box here. So it could be the same thing that I think it was Amy that asked that question that you're doing. There's a couple of other ones out there. This is specifically the one that I have chosen. But not to say, you know, EAV technology is important. It's a electrical form of kinesiology. And that's how we biohack as detailed as we can, because we can go through thousands and thousands of frequencies within a 4 to 5 minute period.
Jen, tell us about, really quickly, and I know we have so many other things to talk about, but I think this is important. Like when you were doing the scan on Tosh, I was like, holy cow, there is a lot to know as a practitioner. So would it really vary from practitioner to practitioner? Does everyone have the same standard of learning? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, yes, it's going to vary different from practitioner to practitioner. Some practitioners don't want to deal with organisms. They don't want to deal with mold or candida. Maybe some practitioners are only looking at Lyme, so they only run specific Lyme tests. Maybe other practitioners are only looking at emotions. So with the system, yes, we can create these quote, quote, filters to specifically look for whatever this practitioner specifically is looking for. Mine is, I have it set up to do 2 scans. One is a comprehensive scan, which that is how we are taught. It's just a matter of toggling, you know, do you want organisms in that initial scan? Do you want hormones in that initial scan? Kind of what that looks like. I'm looking for the big picture in the initial scan. So I don't really care about anything specific. I want to look at the whole health. Are we looking at cardiovascular? Are we looking at gut? Are we looking at immune? Are we looking at teeth? Are we looking at nutrition? Like, I want to know that first. And then the second scan, I have it programmed to go 1 by 1 through all minerals, all amino acids, all hormones, all teeth, all vertebrae. And then I can do what are considered breakout scans from there. So to answer your question, absolutely, every practitioner is going to be a little bit different. I also am one of those practitioners. I do not believe that there is one brand for every single person. So it's Simply Health. We carry multiple brands of B complex, multiple brands of vitamin D, multiple brands of probiotics, because one, what works for you, Jenny, does not work for me, which does not work for Sarah, nor Amy, nor Virginia. So, and that's how we utilize this. So we can actually take supplements from our shelves and specifically make that connection with an individual to see how their body resonates with a specific, you know, every company makes it differently. There's a different milligram, there's a different methylation, there's a different filler,
right?
All of that.
Okay, so if I'm listening to this right now and I'm like, I don't live in Jackson, then what we want to do is one of 2 options. They can send in hair or saliva if they're thinking, oh, this is something they're interested in, and you can do it remotely. Or they just need to find a practitioner that's highly qualified, that's using the Quest 4 or the Asira, who has supplements that are really in integrity, like all these things that you're teaching us. There's really 2 different options to go about it.
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Next biohacking.
Let's go with the HOCAT. Let's go with the HOCAT.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the HOCAT's actually right next door to us, and it's a full body detox pod. So it's kind of like this little pod that you sit in and your head sticking out. So great for people. We have a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm really claustrophobic. And I'm like, it's perfect. I mean, it's HOCAT stands for hyperthermic
ozone
Zone.
carbonic acid transdermal technology.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It uses 7 different modalities. It uses carbonic acid and ozone. So carbonic acid, depending on where you are in your session, is going to either be 3 minutes or 8 minutes. And what carbonic acid does is during your session, it opens up the body. It gets the blood circulating. It opens up the capillaries. It gets things moving. That lasts, again, depending on where you are in your session, 3 to 8 minutes. That shuts down, and then ozone comes in. Ozone is fantastic. It comes in, and again, you're absorbing this transdermally, and it comes in, and it's a powerhouse when it comes to viruses, bacteria, chelation of heavy metals, molds. It's really, really beneficial to us. So, a lot of our patients sit on white towels while they're in the HOCAT, and when they're done with a 30-minute session, you can actually see the heavy metals that have been binded out of the body on their white towel. Or depending on their health challenges. If they're going through cancer or heavy candida, some of those colors are gonna vary in color on the white towel. But the other couple modalities that they're getting, they're getting essential oil if they request it. We typically do frankincense and or lavender. But it's great. Our population, we are so toxic. We are so beyond toxic. So it's really great for anybody who comes in. It's a really great recommendation, just so we're peeling back the layers of bad health and getting into the core, because Jen and I are all about finding the root causes, and sometimes it takes us a little bit longer because we're peeling back those layers, especially with Lyme patients. You got to address the heavy metals. You got to address the candida. You have to address the co-infections before you got to break up the biofilms before you even can get to what's really the root cause of what's going on. The HOCAT was designed for people with Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. We've had some really amazing stories. We got ours, it's been 2 years?
Year and a half.
Yeah, we've had some really, really amazing stories. It's in one of the top infertility clinics in the country, because when you detox both the male and the female, after 10 sessions, their conception rate is up to 90%. Again, going back to the fact that we are so toxic. Nobody detoxes. We're so good about retoxing and detoxing our body, but we're really at a toxic level. And that's a lot of what Jen and I see, is when we see all these health challenges, then we get down into the nitty gritty and we're like, well, let's talk about when you were exposed to this chemical. Yeah. And, living in Jackson, there are a lot of old cabins. There is a lot of mold. There's a lot of seasonal and environmental challenges out here as well. The HOCAT, while you're also in the HOCAT, so you're getting ozone, you're getting carbonic acid, you're getting PEMF frequency. So we put your feet on these metal plates, and it gives off the same, it's the same frequency as the earth, that PEMF frequency. It's frequency. Yeah, that's right. That's my, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused with the PEMF and the Hugo. But so the Hugo turns on halfway into your session, and that is, it's a powerhouse frequency.
The frequency of the earth, just like she was
They're
saying.
both vibrational frequency modalities. Yeah.
And so the Hugo comes in halfway into your session, and it's a powerhouse that goes to any inflammatory response in the body. So a lot of people feel it on their lower back, in their hands, sometimes even in their gut. And that stays on for another 12 minutes during your session using vibrational frequency.
So during the HOCAT, like, just to talk in a little bit of terminology that I know these guys really understand too, it's like the basis is we want to detox, and then we're upregulating the detox pathways. We're making it easier for the toxins to pass through without feeling as sick, without going through, I mean, you may feel hurt. I have done that before, but the idea is to feel a little bit less sick and use vibrational frequency to target specific, because you can put settings for those vibrational frequency parasites, immune system, digestion, all these different things, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And it has a far infrared with steam, so it's nice and cozy, warm inside. There is lights. There's like a light show going on inside that you don't see when you're sitting in the pod, because it's actually giving the body light therapy in addition, which is a very calming therapy. So we're trying to keep the body calm while the client is in there detoxing, because it is actually, it does create the oxidative stress, just as if you were to go on an extreme hike or go to a gym spin class or something like that. The only difference is you're not physically out of breath, but your body is still doing as much work internally. But with the ozone and the far infrared, being able to pull those frequencies to the surface where the ozone can eat those up, it gives the body a chance to take a deep breath and not put so much pressure on the organs, all the eliminatory organs. So
it's creating an artificial fever in a sense. So the reason why we naturally get fevers is to kill viruses and viruses and bacteria. We're trying to create an environment where they can't survive. That's similar to what the HOCAT is doing when it comes to eradicating viruses and bacteria.
And this has also been really beneficial for parasites, because I tend to attract people who have parasites, right? So this has been really huge, I know, for my dad and myself and a lot of people who have parasites locally and have been using this.
Absolutely.
Really yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Between this and the Rife machine, huge for parasites.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Should we keep plugging away?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have time to go through all of them. I wish I'm like but it's so good to hear a little bit more depth about each one than to just play through.
I want to, if we have like a hot second, I would love to talk about the BioCharger.
Yes, definitely.
Because the BioCharger is one of the most unique,
underrated,
crazy spaceship-looking therapies that we have, which
I wish we could take the computer and show you guys. It is amazing.
I actually have a video I'll post for them.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So the BioCharger is a hybrid subtle energy therapy platform. I know that's a big, huge amount of wordage, but essentially what it's doing is it's using 4 different types of therapy through high voltage frequency to recharge the body at that cellular level. So it's very much like if we, the Tesla cars get charged from the Tesla stations, our cell phones get charged from at night as we plug them in. We're supposed to recharge at night when we're sleeping. However, all of the external influences, whether it be stress, work, life, diet,
the EMFs in your bedroom.
Like we just don't get the quality of sleep that we used to. And so this is a way to sit in front of this machine. You don't have to hook yourself up, but you actually sit in front of it. And with it uses Rife. We talked about Rife a little bit. It uses Tesla, which is a recharging high voltage frequency, PEMF, and photonic light. And with the combination of those 4 frequencies just sitting next to it, it can recharge the body at, say, like a 20% battery power of our human bodies up to 80 and 90%. That is quite incredible.
It recharges. We like to show our critics or those that are a little skeptical that are sitting in front of it. We take a light bulb, a fluorescent light bulb that's not plugged into anything, and we bring it close to the BioCharger and it lights up. And again, it's not a light bulb that's plugged into anything. So it's a visual tool to show people that there is a lot of voltage that's coming out of this little machine, and that your being is just absorbing it down to a cellular level. Similar to what Jen said, is our body is meant to be recharged. We've just never had the tools or the avenue or the education to know how to do so. The BioCharger is a really, really cool tool to do that. And we have over 900 different recipes to choose from. So if we know that that individual is struggling with liver health, there's a liver program. If we know that individual is struggling with sleep, there's a sleep program. If we know that individual has had brain injuries, there's a concussion program. Really great for animals too. Our 4-legged friends come in all the time to utilize this, just recharging down to the cellular level. It puts out 500 to 700,000 static volts, and cancer and pathogens start to break down at 200,000.
It's amazing. Anytime I've done it, I'm like, I think that parasympathetic response, no matter what setting, Chloe had pink eye last year and I went and did it, and I was like, oh, like I'm so relaxed from the pink eye setting. Like all of them, it's so relaxing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really, really awesome tool. We love it. And it doesn't have to be, it's 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. It's no time at all. But it's doing wonders for the body.
Yeah. And how, I wanted to ask you really quickly, the HOCAT, the biocharger, the things that you're talking about, is this a one-time thing? Do you need to do it multiple times? Like, how does that kind of work in terms of the healing?
I'm gonna go off of the basis that, you know, if someone's just coming in off the street and they have nothing wrong with them, they just want to come in and support themselves, one time is fine. But for our clients don't feel well. Our clients are coming here because they have been to their doctor and their doctor doesn't know what to do, or they haven't been to their doctor and they don't really want to go. They just want to see if, you know, what we find, what we see. They've been, you know, so those issues, whether they're chronic or acute, we find that our clients get better if they have a little bit more skin in the game, which means that utilizing these technologies a couple times a week for even 3 to 4 weeks, we see extreme results.
Consistency is huge.
Consistency is huge because the body needs that love. It needs that support. And without that, our bodies can only fight as much as we're willing to give them the tools to fight with.
Yeah.
So if somebody is struggling with Lyme, doing the biocharger once, doing the HOCAT once, you're going to feel something, you're going to see something, but the long-term aspect of it is not going to be there unless you really have, you know, you put forth some effort into that.
We always suggest at least 10 sessions with the HOCAT for no matter where your health is. You know, those that are a little bit more complicated with MS, Lyme, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, with the HOCAT, they're going to need, you know, 20 to 35 sessions. Again, it really all depends on their toxicity load and their exposure prior to coming to us. You know, what's their immune system like? What's their diet like? What's their exposure in their own home? So it really varies kind of individual to individual, but with the HOCAT, we always start off with 10 sessions. Again, going back to the analogy of peeling back the layer, we're peeling back the layer of bad health, trying to get down into that root cause. But those that have some serious health issues, they're going to need, you know, 20 to 30, 35 plus HOCAT sessions.
And
so
that,
it is consistent, and it is a commitment level too.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that can sound overwhelming, especially when you are sick and you have really low energy and you feel like you're low on resources and time and all these things.
Totally.
But you guys, like, there's a woman who lives in our community who had completely debilitating Lyme. She just could barely walk. She was just withering away and had like done everything, like been to all these different doctors, all these different areas. And I don't know how long it took her, but I know that I was in touch with her at one point in time, and a number of months later, after doing the HOCAT once or twice a week, and maybe she did some of this other stuff, but she is like back to exercising. She's riding her horse. She's like living life again.
We're like, slow down.
She's waiting tables.
Is she? Yeah.
She's playing with her grandbaby. Yeah, she was waiting tables like 4 nights a week this past summer,
so she could play golf.
Yeah, so she could get a golf discount.
And this is someone who, like, her daughter's a friend of mine. She really, truly, like, they didn't know if she was going to make it. So it is, you're like, okay, it's a big commitment, but like, if you can experience those results, it's pretty amazing.
She holds a special place in our heart. We have been so blessed to be a part of her journey. Yeah. But we kind of like, we were like, okay, we have to start her off with the HOCAT. The HOCAT is a progression, you know, so we work your way up very slowly. And with this particular individual, we had to start extremely slow. And we were like, we checked in with her all the time, but we had to go very slow with this individual. And she is just thriving. That she did that story just warms my heart. And also, you know, you asked the question, but truthfully, when a client is sitting in front of us with some health conditions, we don't say that they're going to be in there for 30 sessions. We say, you know what, let's start out with 10. Let's start out with 5. Yeah. You know, if someone is overwhelmed with already, you know, their health conditions, we don't throw the big picture at them. Yeah. We say, let's do it week by week. Mm-hmm. Let's do it a month by month. Let's do it time by time. Yeah. Like whatever that client needs is how we approach it. So we're very, you know, it really is looking at the big picture. And yes, some clients need 30, but they may not need that. They may not know that or need to know that right away. Right. We really try to be as very mindful and financially respectful as possible.
Yeah. I just wanted people to really understand it's not necessarily like a one-time go do it and then like, why it wasn't working. Like it
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. So good. Okay. I know we have Q&A. What do you guys have time to go over, like maybe an extra 5 or 10 minutes, or do you have clients coming in?
Let me just check this
Yeah,
real quick.
Because Virginia and Amy may have questions, and I want to respect that.
Yeah.
So.
I think I have a client at 1.
But I have someone at 1, but I can.
Okay.
We can both probably go about
like
5
5
minutes.
minutes.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we did, you guys. There's a salt booth that I wish we could talk about, which like you sit in this booth and the salt comes into your mouth and it absorbs the mucus and helps to kill off pathogens. There's the minion bed made out of jade and use vibrational frequencies, and it like restores your nervous system. And totally everyone that I know that's had like chronic pain, like muscle pain, or my mom had knee joint pain, and every time she goes there, she's like, oh my gosh, my pain is gone. It is amazing. There's so many incredible services and tools in this modern day biohacking, I guess is how I'm categorizing it. And what I did for everyone listening, if you go to the chats box of this, the very first thing I put is the link to Simply Health JH services. So you can see there's a brief description of all of their 15 plus services with a brief description. Even if you don't live in Jackson, check that out so that you can be aware of what's available. And Sarah and Jen are always so awesome. I don't know if you guys are people calling and asking questions.
Oh yeah, all the time. Email, call us. We also have a great following on Facebook and Instagram. We're so up to date with that, so you can always find more information.
Simply Health of Jackson Hole. So with that, let's just see if Virginia and Amy have questions, because I really want to honor since they're here. And then if not, we can talk about 1 or 2 more machines. But Virginia and Amy, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to ask any specific questions around your health or anything you've learned here that's popping up. Hi, Amy.
Hi. Thank you so much. This is really great to listen to. One question I have is, so I just discovered recently through a stool sample test that I have some bacteria. I knew I had some GI gut issues, but I didn't know what they were. I was diagnosed with SIBO a little while ago, so I went through an antibiotic. Didn't really do anything for me. So now I'm working with a naturopath in the Boston area, and just started with him a week ago. I'm taking something called BioHacking, I think, BioHacking.
Yep.
What's it called?
You're good. You're close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And I just discovered today I was totally doing it wrong. I thought I was supposed to take, he had told me to take 1 drop one day and then work my way up, 1 drop twice a day, and then work my way up to 5 drops twice a day. I realized today that I was actually taking a dropper full and not a drop. So I way exceeded what I've been doing, supposed to be doing. I realized today when I was going through the bottle very quickly, and I was like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? So my question to you is, how long does it take typically to remove bacteria from your gut?
That's a really, really great question. I am going to be a little partial with this only because this is a journey that I have been on very recently, but I have been learning a tremendous amount about it. We've been working with a specific company called Microbiome Labs. They have a specific protocol for SIBO. SIBO is extremely hard to mitigate because it is a bacteria in your intestine, small intestine. And I definitely, encourage you to keep working with the practitioner you're working with. However, I have found that this company has a very different approach to it, which I am extremely overwhelmed with the research and the studies that they have in helping mitigate SIBO from the body. And it doesn't, SIBO, Crohn's, colitis, IBS, infections that infections other places. For myself, I have been down the path of urinary tract infections my entire life, which I'm finally getting a hold of. Other people, chronic sinus infections, but it all starts in the gut. And this company has that sustainability. It has the research. It has all of the
education behind it. Their webinars are fantastic.
Everything.
We've been learning so much through them, and we've only had it for a couple of months now, and it's just we're all on the
Yeah, we're all on the program for
but it's
one reason or another with the protocols, you know, and then of course utilizing some of the other stuff that we have here, therapy wise, you know, something like this may not need a specific therapy right away, and or it might. It would be something I would say I would not probably start detoxing the body until you get the gist of the bacteria under control, because then what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of hercs and your body's not going to be able to get rid of that bacteria fast enough.
so make sure your detox pathways are open. You know, make sure your
Most
lymphatic
important.
system is moving. Make sure your bowels are moving. We have a lot of people that come in and they're like, yeah, I'm detoxing, but they're like, I have a bowel movement once every 3 days, and we're like, whoo.
I mean, you're just reabsorbing those toxins
Yeah,
back in.
it's really, really important to make sure your detox pathways are moving and flowing.
Okay.
So to follow up on that question, if she were to do this microbiome, like what is the timeline that you typically see people healing from SIBO? And I know it probably depends based on how severe it is.
A bit harder. You know, I'm gonna say 3 to 6 months most likely. But we actually have from the company their specific protocol, which includes the biocidin, and I always say it incorrectly too. Biocidin.
I've heard of biocine, I've heard of biocidin.
It doesn't matter. But it actually, this specific protocol actually utilizes that supplement as well to help break down the biofilm of those deep-rooted bacteria. But you know, we're happy to communicate with you a little bit further, Amy, but you know, of course we never want to step on any other practitioner's toes. So we definitely want to make sure that you are utilizing your resources there, you know, to the best of your ability first. And then if it's something that you want to reach out and talk to us about specifically, a protocol for that, in conjunction to what you're doing, we're happy to talk to you about that.
Okay, that'd be great. The other thing I'm doing is some energy work with a machine. I also hold on to a copper bar, and it's registering on this computer if I'm high or low levels. And then I get something in a bottle to take home and you know, take a whole dropper full, which is why I got confused. And so I've been working with her for a few months, and she's trying to get the immune system regulated, and then we'll go on and test for some food allergies or food sensitivities, which could be impacting how I feel as well.
Is it by chance called an NES system?
No, it's called it's out of Germany, and I'm just on their website now. It says galvanic skin response device.
Okay, yeah, that's exact. Yep, it's the same technology, just different company.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. And Virginia, we've got about 6 minutes here. I want to open that up to you if you've got any specific questions.
Yes, hi. I don't know how to change my picture into picture. I would love to talk more about gut health. I went on an elimination diet after having some stomach issues with bathroom issues all the time, and now that was over 1.5 years ago, and I can't add anything else back in. I've eliminated parasites, but that was really recently, so I'm not sure if it's just if it's just time needed or what else. And I'm going to start on the
Because there's some leaky gut going on as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, again, I guess what I have found out recently is that you really need to target specific strains in the gut when you do have specific ailments. So leaky gut, like I said, Crohn's, colitis, SIBO, diverticulitis, any of those. What happens is when you think of a garden, it's kind of how I explain it. If you think of a garden and you've forgotten to weed the garden, but you've also planted beautiful flowers, you go out and you water all of it. It is all going to grow. So your weeds may outgrow your flowers. Your weeds might grow in conjunction with your flowers. Your weeds might be suffocated by your flowers. But nonetheless, everything is going to grow. So if you have a microdiversity that is high bacteria, unwanted, unhealthy bacteria, and you have a low diversity of good bacteria, and you go in with a regular old probiotic and you basically water the entire platform of foliage, everything is going to grow. Therefore, the bad bacteria is going to outgrow the good bacteria, and you're going to end up feeling actually probably worse, more bloated, constipation, headaches, all of those things. So what I have recently understood with the specific protocols that we've been working with is utilizing a specific type of probiotic called a spore probiotic that actually basically it suffocates the weeds, suffocates the high diversity of bad bacteria, and allows the good bacteria of your system to flourish.
So it's using probiotic health as almost an antibiotic, and it's if you guys have ever heard of Dr. David Perlmutter, the brain maker, he goes into great length of the future of medicine is really going to be, the future of antibiotic health is really going to be using probiotics, and this company has just started to do that. So they're really just starting out with using probiotic strains.
Yeah, and when we say just starting out, it's not like they've just opened their doors. Like I think it's becoming more of a forefront to us practitioners to be like that aha moment of, oh my gosh, like so many people can actually, and I'm gonna say it, but cure their ailments based on their gut health. And it's really finding that specific protocol to utilize in order to, maybe Virginia, you've got leaky gut, but, we also have to look at the backlog of your health. So you had parasites, what were your antibiotics like as a child? What was your food like as a child? We really go back, because if someone had antibiotics in their teens, even one round of antibiotics, who hasn't had one round of antibiotics? That changes the gut microbes significant
for a year. Just one pill of an antibiotic will disrupt your good microbe for a whole year.
Right. But then what you do is then you add on to that. And so this accumulation effect of another antibiotic or poor food or poor gut health for whatever reason, then you get back, you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden you can't absorb anything. You can't break down anything. Like your gut microbe is actually so imbalanced that nothing is working. And that is exactly where I was up till a couple weeks ago when, to be honest, well, I'm not going to go there. When I decided it was time to take back my gut health. Like it was time. And I was like, okay, universe, like give it to me. Like we have all these amazing therapies in here, but I need something, because I've been complaining about this for my entire life. My husband's sick of hearing about it. I have people asking me if I'm okay because my gut is so extended. And that day, I'm not kidding you, that day, 4 people told me about this lab. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do some research myself. Got on the phone with these medical doctors, got on the phone with the researchers, got on the phone with a bunch of other people, and found it like, oh my gosh, there is a lot behind this. And I'm really excited to keep diving in. But these protocols, I'm going to say hypothetically over the last month, probably put 10 clients on different variations of this protocol. And it's extremely beneficial. So that is what we're doing for gut health right now.
And I just want to add, like what I had always heard before is you want like a broad spectrum, high count, something like the Theraflac was shown that it would like kill off antibiotics one or the other, like trying to look for the highest quality broad spectrum. And this is taking all of this and making it so individualized. Is that correct? Like it's so individualized.
It's creating a really good, think of it as soil for your garden, just like Jen's analogy. It's creating that soil where your flowers can thrive, and we're trying to keep those weeds down, but it's creating that soil. So if someone doesn't even have soil and they're just taking probiotics, you're just taking but there's no foundation. They're not growing, right? So they're just kind of going in.
It's just basically a waste of money, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You really need that good, healthy soil to allow the good bacteria to thrive. And think about, the brain gut health connection. That's huge. The gut as your second brain. With mental disorders, depression, Alzheimer's, it really does kind of stem from the gut. There, you have more neurons going from your brain to your gut than you do from your brain to your spine.
Yeah.
And so if you have a healthy gut, you're going to overall have just flourish in optimal health.
So if people have questions, if they're like, okay, maybe, you know, Amy wants to talk to you about SIBO, or Virginia wants to talk about the leaky gut or parasites, or whoever is listening, and the recording is like, all right, can they call you and you can create the exact protocol for their situation?
Yeah,
Yep.
most definitely. We're happy to help in any way. Yeah, that is something.
Remind me what the phone number is. I'm just going to put it here in the chats for people.
Two best ways is phone, which is 307-732-0540. And sometimes even better is email, which is info at simplyhealthjh.com.
Okay. Virginia, does that help?
Yes, and I've actually heard of microbiome labs and heard really good things about them. So thank you, and I probably will send you an email sometime very soon. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Perfect. We'll keep our eyes out for it.
Cool. You guys, thank you so much. I know you have to go. I feel like we need to like a round 2 and a round 3 to get through it.
We're happy to do it too.
Okay, amazing. We might have to do that because this is just really incredible information. Thank you for your time. I'm super grateful, Virginia and Amy. It's so good to see you guys. And everyone listening to the recording, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day, you guys. Bye.
Bye, thanks.